Every day, all around the world, millions of people wake up and get ready for their day. They brush their teeth, eat breakfast, then get in their car and drive to school, work, or numerous other places. At the same time, millions of people are also using their cell phones to chat, search the web, and of course, text. Texting, which is the use of cellular phone to send a typed message, is quickly replacing emails and actual phone conversations as the preferred method of communication by today's youth. Even people of older generations are familiarizing themselves with texting in order to keep up with a world that continues to move faster. While text messaging tends to be less time-consuming than a phone call, it also requires more attention because you are not only required to look at the phone, but also need to use your fingers to press the buttons. With all the distractions that texting causes, you would think that people would know better than to do it while driving. Unfortunately, this is not the case. At any time on any given day, an average of 11% of drivers are using their cell phones. 81% of drivers have admitted to using their cell phones while driving, and 18% have admitted to texting. A lot of drivers simply do not understand the dangers of texting. Not only does it take your eyes off the road and the hands off the wheel, but it actually distracts the brain. One of the biggest questions about texting and driving is, why is it so dangerous? We asked Dr. Dennis Mulfees, a psychology professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, about the effects of texting on the brain.
There are some things that we multitask all the time and seem to not affect our performance at all. For example, I'm sitting here in a chair, sort of listening to background noise. I might be tapping the desk with the top of my hands, moving my head around a bit. Those are really low-level motor functions that don't require virtually any attention at all. However, paying attention to what I'm saying, watching your reaction, that requires more attention. If I'm driving an automobile, it requires a good deal of attention because I'm always planning where I'm going. I have to anticipate the person next to me on the road, whether they're going to turn into me or not. If somebody does something stupid while I'm driving, either in my car or somebody else's, then I might have an emotional reaction to that, but that emotional reaction can interfere, so I have to inhibit that. So frontal lobe functions, attention functions are things that require attention, planning, inhibition, memory. All these are pretty critical things that demand a lot of neural cognitive involvement.
Not being able to focus and react while driving is a huge risk to both you and to other drivers. Every year, we see new efforts by the government to help prevent accidents caused by texting and driving. Currently, in the state of Nebraska, the police cannot pull you over specifically for texting and driving, but if you are pulled over for a moving violation, you'll be asked about texting while driving. To gain a little insight about the legal aspects of distracted driving, we talked to several law enforcement officials. Sheriff Terry Wagner, who has first-hand experience dealing with the issue of texting and driving, gave us information about the current driving laws and his thoughts on the matter.
Well, as you know, a year ago the legislature passed a law against texting and driving, and I testified against that law, mainly because of I felt it didn't go far enough, and number two, it's difficulty of enforcement on the texting bill. The way it's written, it's a secondary violation, so that means you can't be pulled over for texting if you're not committing another violation. It is. I think that cell phone usage, talking, is equally as distracting because when you're talking, especially if it's an in-depth conversation about a serious matter, your brain is going to give more thought to what you're processing, what you're hearing, and what you're going to say than to your driving actions. And I think that's one of the things I didn't think the texting law went far enough, was that it should have banned cell phones, period. Driving's dangerous, it's serious business, and it's dangerous, and people need to use all of their mental facilities, to accomplish the task.
According to a National Safety Council white paper report, hands-free devices are no safer than using a handheld device. Your brain still focuses on the conversation, and you are forced to focus on a disembodied voice. With the brain distracted, it is much easier to miss important information in the world. Stoplights and pedestrians become less relevant to a brain because so much of its processing power is put into the conversation. If distracted driving is so dangerous, is there anything we can do to make it safer? We asked Lincoln Police Chief Tom Cassidy for his opinion on how to be safe while operating your motor vehicle.
I personally don't like these laws that make anything a secondary offense. The way I look at it, it's either legal or it's illegal. I think more than anything, what we need is we need people to exert more self-control on texting while they're driving. So you really do rely on people voluntarily obeying laws, and I hope that people are taking this seriously. I know in my own case, I've been putting my cell phone in my briefcase in my trunk so that I'm not tempted to be fiddling with my email. I don't text a lot, but I do a ton of email. And I don't want to be in that position, so I just put it in the trunk. It's actually made my daily commute a little bit more pleasant, to tell the truth.
How many accidents involve texting each year?
I think it's a much larger number than official data would show, because I think it's often contributing to crashes that we are simply unaware of. The driver doesn't tell us that he or she was texting, but indeed that was one of the reasons for the driver being distracted.
Distracted driving is dangerous. Even Bluetooth and other hands-free devices cannot make it any safer. It only takes a moment's distraction to prove fatal. There's only one way to eliminate distracted driving, and Police Chief Cassidy sums it up very nicely.
For the time being, I think people just need to think more about paying attention to their first and foremost responsibility to drive, and keep their eyes on the road and in the rearview mirror, and put the device down. Do like I do. Put it in your gym bag, throw it in your trunk. You're not even tempted. It's only going to be 11 minutes before you're at your destination, then you can text away to your heart's content.